Welcome back, thanks for tuning in. In today's video, I'd like to discuss why you should be meditating. Well, actually, why I think you need to meditate and how it can help you in whatever it is that you want to achieve. If you're new here, I'm Hugh and I'm a first year medical student and I make videos about the GAMSAT and about medical life in general. So picture this, you sit down to study, or maybe you're asked to do a presentation, or you get some bad news, or you've got an exam coming up, or any number of things that could be stressful. But you get to whatever that is, and your mind starts to race. And there's all these little thoughts start popping up, and they're really, really uncomfortable. But they're also really distracting. And you get tight in the chest, you get anxious, blood pressure rises, everything just sort of doesn't really work. Or maybe you sit down to do a study session, and that little voice says, "Oh man, check your phone. Oh, so-and-so's gone to the pub, go for a drink. Oh, you don't really need this." You're probably pretty familiar with that. I certainly know that I have been. But if you want to be successful at something, the ability to focus and to be able to let those things go is really important. Now for me, and I know for many others, meditation was something that really helped with that. And so in this video, I'd just like to give a quick discussion as to why. But I'd also, I think, like to acknowledge that you may have been doing it wrong. When we first sit down to meditate, we're often told something like, sit, breathe, and just clear your mind. But very quickly, those distractive thoughts come back in and we race, we get distracted, we get uncomfortable, we get up and we leave. We just sort of say, oh, no, it's not for me. I know so many people who have said this recently. We did some stuff with it at uni and a lot of people said, I just can't stop. My mind will not be able to relax. It just doesn't work that way. I'm sorry. I know some people can, but I can't. But that's not really how meditation works or is supposed to work. And it kind of misses the point. If I ask you to sit right now and just sit quietly for a moment, relax, take a deep breath in, close your eyes, breathe on out. Now I'd like you to imagine a polar bear. And imagine that polar bear playing in the water, going hunting, doing whatever you think a polar bear would be doing. Hold that picture in your mind for a second. Now, let's take another scenario. I want you to sit, close your eyes, take a deep breath in, and I want you to not think about that polar bear. Don't think about the polar bear. You can see it's probably popping up, right? The point is, if you tell yourself not to do something, or you tell yourself to clear your mind, anything along those lines, it's just not going to happen. Our brains don't work that way. Rather, what meditation does, and where I think personally I found it most valuable, and I think it has the most value, it teaches us the ability to respond or not respond. It kind of widens that space between the stimulus and the response. Because that's where suffering occurs. That's where distraction occurs. That's where that feeling of FOMO, right? If your phone bings and you get a text from Damo saying, "Hey, let's go to the pub," and you immediately want, "Oh, I'm missing out." Meditation allows you to detach from that question or that statement or whatever it is and put a little space between it and allow you to not get that emotional response. So when you need to sit, when you need to focus, or you need to do something that's challenging, it will allow you to be much more in the moment. Personally, what I've found from that is, of course, it does allow me to be more in the moment. It's allowed me to have more insight into who I am and my motivations. It's generally given me a calmer and less reactive disposition. And I think the other side of it is that, particularly if you want to be a clinician and if you're watching this, you're probably sitting in GAMSAT or you might be a medical student, is that it helped me develop some empathy and insight into other people's behavior and other people's emotions, because through taking note of what you're actually doing and what drives you can then start to see just how irrational we are and how much we are governed by our emotions. And so you can have a little bit more compassion and empathy for somebody else when you see them get really angry or they're rude or whatever it is, and you realize that, well, they're not entirely in control over what they're doing and that there might be something else going on there. And so it does give you a little bit more, at least I've found, a little bit more insight into that space. So how do we actually do this? Like what's something useful that I can take from this? At the most basic level, I think that something like it's Zazen, which is a Japanese form of meditation and it comes from a Buddhist tradition, is just sitting with the breath. It could just be 10 minutes of sitting, 5 minutes, even 1 minute will be better than nothing. And literally all you do is breathe in and breathe out. But follow that breath all the way in and all the way out. And allow thoughts to come in, they will come in, but then just try and detach a little bit. Allow them there and then breathe back out. And when another thought comes in, acknowledge the thought and then just detach from it. Come back to your breath. And if you do this, you'll notice just how many things come and go into your mind, but you will get better at just letting them go, because that's really the point. Like ultimately that's what I'm trying to get across here, is that it's not about not having thoughts, it's about being able to detach from those thoughts when they come. So even if it's a minute, 2 minutes, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. It'll be better than nothing. And I think it'll be really, really beneficial. There is an app which I've used called Waking Up by Sam Harris. I'm not affiliated with it in any way, but I did find it was very beneficial. He had a great little introductory course. When I started, I think it was a 50-day course, but he's now changed it. It might be 28 days or a month long or something like that. And it gives you these introductory steps into meditation. And it also gives you some good lessons that you can follow along with. And then from that, there's sort of these daily meditations, and they can be sort of 10 or 20 minutes long, depending on how much time you have. But personally, it's something that when I've been performing at my best and when I've been my happiest and all those sorts of things, it's something that I've made a daily practice. And so it is something that I tick every day now to make sure that I get it done. Because I did notice that after a couple of months of doing it, I really started to get those benefits. And, I hope they continue. So thank you for watching. This was beneficial in some way. I know it wasn't totally normal with the GAMSAT type style video, but I think if you are studying GAMSAT, when you sit down to do that work, you need to be as effective with your time as possible. This is one of those ways that you can kind of dial that up, tune up your sort of toolkit and do a better job, be a bit more efficient. So thank you. Pass this on to a friend if you think it might be beneficial. Love it if you could like, subscribe, leave a comment, something you'd like to see, and I hope you all have a great day. Cheers.